Yo, what is good? My anime people, what is good, yo? If this game works relatively good, and I have to play it with no sound, I'm literally playing it live, but you guys know that. PlayStation 4, you can't just... It's hard to get pre-recorded stuff and then do a voiceover for it, okay? Anyway, this week's episode is Sword Art Online. I'm very surprised with how subtle everything is kind of being built up. I mean, I'm not that surprised that I am surprised. Like, first of all, let's talk about the first big thing that absolutely blew my mind was the fight between, that was like just a thought, was Simon and our sniper versus this guy who supposedly is going to be the one getting into he's going to be getting into the Alice world very soon here, seemingly. So to think that she either has experienced this before, because she did say it's the guy from the other day, like something has happened between them before, so we may be looking at somebody who's just absolutely a monster when it comes down to going into this world, and them just toying with our characters as a whole, because not only have we seen these guys put up a decent fight against Kimito and all of his people, but they then easily take out these men who are supposedly protecting and paid armed bodyguards to take care of stuff like this, and they just got absolutely handled. So, oh no, that's a problem right there. I can't hear mines. I cannot hear mines. I gotta remember that. Everything that kind of came with this week's episode put the perspective a lot on where the dark territories are kind of gonna make their moves, or what their moves could entail. And then next thing you know, they're telling us about one of them that may have some of the research from the plaintiff, or the leader of what we were dealing with in the first place. And if that's the case, we are definitely going to be in some trouble, which doesn't surprise me when it comes down to sword art, because to be fair, this show, like this Alicization version of the show, not only has like ridiculous ways of going about letting more content just flow out. Because think about it, the whole reason behind them kind of taking out the Pontiff was because she was just doing bad things as a whole to people that Kimito knew, and he didn't know the full grasp of anything she was actually doing, behind closed doors, until she started to actually elaborate and explain. And not only that, we learned about, the person who she wanted to create and, kind of like fuse her being with, or whatever, with the girl with the glasses. A lot of different stuff. Oh my god, get off me, boy. A lot of different stuff was being introduced in different ways, and it was nice to see, but at the same time, we got to a point where we just didn't know what was gonna come, and we had to just guess once it happens, like who's really gonna help who after it's all over and said and done. And Kimito can't even really help himself, and these people that actually really do need his help at this point. So I'm actually really interested in seeing how they're going to change the landscape during all of this battling, right? Like, they're all going to be going at each other's throats. They're all going to be just literally taking each other out for supremacy. So once it's over in the dark territories, supposedly this girl who has her hands maybe on some of the steps to become immortal herself. Those people, then we have our people who have been saved by Kimito, not turned into swords and then replaced. We have all of them that still want to protect the village and their side of the territory in general and their way of living. And then you have now in the Dark Territory who we were learning they were having quite a normal life and straightforward, but now that these two people have arisen, the thing with sword art and women in sword art is usually they put them in very luscious and nice positions. But then you see stuff like this where it's like, oh, you're almost 21, I want to marry you, and once I marry you, I'll be able to, I'll be able to give you the life or whatever you want. And so by being in this position, it changes my perspective as a whole when it comes down to who is going to do who dirty. Because think about it, now that these two guys have just gone into the same world that Kimito's in, it it really puts into perspective like how many people uh, really and truly showed, just interesting aspects of storytelling. I haven't really seen what anyone's told us as a whole in the grand scheme of uh, anybody who. Oh wow, they want me to really do that. That's messed up. In the grand scheme of what Asuna is going to be able to go through and what these guys just went through, it doesn't seem like they had that hard of a trouble jumping, right? Like, they were saying that the underworld has been damaged and it's going to be hard to, go in here and have a way with, everything in the grand scheme of you need to stop everything that's going on. And after you stop everything that's going on, I want to put into perspective of how ridiculously strong they're going to be just starting. And because of that, they are going to run into Asuna, who then is going to be whatever level she's going to be at the jump. So those are the things that kind of interest me in the grand scheme of we don't know how strong they are, but for some reason when they awoken, it was like a breaking of the gate of like a long lasted wait or something. It was like the equivalent of a summoner calling down heroes to come, but or shield hero. There we go. The shield hero, where they had different altars for other heroes to pop up in other places. Sorry if I spoiled that for you. But that's just one little tiny detail that's in the background, that there is a way that they can summon them, which is not really a spoiler. First episode, they get summoned to another world. There you go. Like that's the whole entire show. There's has to be a way that they summon, right? And that was one of them, is the altars. And I feel like that's kind of what you could say this was some type of altar to have their side of the dark territory have some type of fighting chance, or just some people on their side that know a lot more about battle and tactical things than they do in general, and giving them that edge. So it looks like that's exactly what they're getting, and I look forward to seeing what everybody is thinking about it. Not only that, we're going to see a lot of what Asuna is probably going to have to deal with going into a place that's straight up broken. You know, like it supposedly is not stable, and they're still going to, you know, figure out. Uh, they're still gonna have to figure out what goes down if anybody has not noticed. It's clear to me that everybody within the world has, like, you know, they have their thought processes and everything that they know. But if someone from the outside comes out and, you know, tells them so much, like for instance, Kimito has never really gone out of his way to tell them everything he knows from where he's from, right? Like he's never gone to that length to be like, this is what I do and this is how things are done outside of what we're in. But they could do that. They don't care about their mental state, you know, their mental status and stuff like that. Mind you, they already think people have done that in here already to give them the idea of why this girl wanted to be immortal and stuff like that, because there was people that were teaching them all the stuff of the real world, but then at the same time, they show us just how much they know in general of, you know, goals and ambitions and getting different emotions. So Sword Art's being ridiculously crazy good, and Kimito's still out for the count, and Alice is still trying to figure out what they're even gonna do overall with you know, these people in the town not trusting her. She's not really their leader. No one's really their leader. They're all kind of free to do whatever they want. But because of that, it leads to this notion that anybody can kind of just become the leader if they want to. You know, if you step up, why not that person be the leader, and what's going to stop them besides someone else who's powerful, you know? So we're in an interesting position with Sword Art, and I think this is one of the most, like, look forward to events I've seen, because like I was saying, the fight with her, like, straight up fighting for her life in Gun Gale, and pretty much not even winning that fight even close, but it turning into a daydream, her getting thrown around and a knife flying into it, like, that guy is ridiculous. And of course my first thought was like, why are you in the game? Get out of the game. Like, I would not be playing that game, including with how much stuff has happened between you and your group of people, and, you know, like, how many people will have their eyes out for you. People are always going to be gunning for you because you're with the best of the best. So why would you go out by yourself? Because she is one of the best of the best, I get that, but at the same time, they're going to try to take you out. But with all that being said, I hope you guys have an amazing day, night, evening, whatever the case may be. I am your boy, the Anime G, and I will definitely talk to you in the next one. So with that being said, take care and peace.